Hi, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Really excited today to do another live stream. It's been a bit. I did a live stream over on Hallmarky's podcast where I ranked all 77 holiday films that I saw this year, new holiday films. And so you definitely should check that out over there. That's a lot of fun. And everything from Hallmark to not Hallmark, everything that I saw that was Disney Plus, Netflix, everywhere else. That's all ranked over at Hallmarky's podcast. So I did a live stream there, but I haven't done one since on this channel since December 20th, which is kind of wild. So it's been a bit, but I hope you all had a great holiday season. And yeah, let's dive in, see what I've seen, both film and theater. It's going to be a lot more film than theater because during this time is kind of the post-holiday film. Uh, during this time is the post-holiday theater season, so there's not that many new shows starting up yet. But it's going to get busy next week is already, and then I've got Sundance and trying to see some shows during Sundance is crazy. Busy. But let's talk about what I saw in the last basically month, 3 weeks. So let's start with Night Bitch, and that's the name of the film. Don't at me for this. So this movie, it's interesting because I think that it does have value. I wouldn't completely discount it because I do think there is some value in like seeing yourself on screen and your life portrayed. And I think that a lot of frazzled, stressed out moms will feel that and will have this experience from watching this movie, will feel seen. And I think that's valuable. However, I don't think it has much more value than that. And that's disappointing because I think they could have pushed that further. You really don't learn anything that's surprising or new or unique about this particular character, this particular woman. It's just the whole takeaway is being a mom is really hard. And yeah, like I feel like most people know that. Most people get that. And you could use this movie for birth control because nobody will ever want to have a child after you watch this movie. It is like just painful to watch. And so it's not a very pleasant experience. It's not like funny enough or insightful enough. And so it's just kind of like, in a way, it's kind of misery porn, just watching this horrible life, that she has. And I don't know, it wasn't very cathartic, I think, for me as a non-mom. It might be cathartic just for seeing yourself portrayed, but I wish that it was better than that. I wish there was more than that. So that's too bad. But I gave it 2 stars on Letterboxd. I did not go fresh on it, but I can see why some people might like it. Then we have next All We Imagine as Light. And this is a beautiful film from India about these 2 women and their relationships and this kind of journey that they go on. And together, it's beautifully filmed, beautifully made, very well acted. I think it's definitely worth watching. You should check it out. Then I saw Hit Pig. And there's a couple of animated films that I caught up for to be ready for that episode I did with Matt on 2024 animation. This has like some moments, some potential, with sort of a riff on the spy heist, kind of type of movie, but in animation. But it's just the humor doesn't land. It just feels generic, unfortunately, in the end. So then I have The Night Before Christmas in Wonderland. And this was a really, really clever holiday film and beautifully animated. I loved the animation. It really reminded me of Secret of Kells. And Tom Moore, I think, has to be like a big inspiration for these people, which why wouldn't he be? He's amazing. And but this was a clever idea of the Queen of Hearts sending a letter to Santa Claus when she was a little girl. He finally gets it. And then he goes and wants to help, and now she's become the Queen of Hearts, become a villain. And so I thought it was pretty clever concept and idea. And so if you missed this one during the holidays, I think you should check it out. It was really good. Okay, let's see. Baby Girl. So Baby Girl It has a lot of sexy scenes, but to me, it wasn't actually all that sexy because I felt no sense of connection between these two people. There was no chemistry. There was no, like, I wasn't invested in them. So it all kind of feels sort of clinical and even kind of silly at times. And that's probably part of what they're trying to say. But I was more interested in Antonio Banderas's character, and it's kind of crazy to me that now Antonio Banderas is basically like playing like the Richard Gere role in Unfaithful, and he's how is that possible that we've come to that point? I don't know, but I didn't buy that this character would make these choices. This Nicole Kidman character, she's presented as the CEO, but also she's like really mousy and really like shy and I don't know. So there were like these two sides of her, and I just didn't buy that she would take this risk and that she would do this. And because there isn't more of an emotional connection between the two, it's just an experimental connection. I don't know. It just wasn't that interesting to me. I didn't think it worked. It's very well made and it's very beautifully shot. So I can understand why some people like it. And like I said, if you just want sexy scenes, then they're there. But I don't know, for something to be sexy for me, I want some kind of emotional component even in an affair, like some to draw me in and get me connected. So that one, it did not work for me. Then music by John Williams. This is a documentary on Disney Plus. This is excellent. It is so well put together with so many cool interviews from people like Steven Spielberg and George Lucas. And I didn't realize that he didn't really start doing the movie scores until his like late 30s, almost 40. I had no idea that he had this whole like jazz background and that he had done so many movies before he did Jaws and Star Wars and things like that. Like I didn't realize like how many he had done. Like I knew he'd done Fiddler on the Roof and some others, but he'd done a lot before that. So that was interesting. It's highly recommend, highly. But Elton John, this Never Too Late. This is Disney Plus. And it's fine. Like it's if you like his music and you get to hear him and but I thought it just skipped over so much that it was very strange. I like how can you have a documentary about Elton John on Disney Plus that doesn't talk about the Lion King at all? Like this was all about his addictions and his coming out process, which I'm a fan of that. Like, no problem. But I felt like they skipped over so much that I would have loved to have learned more about in this. So it wasn't my favorite. Then I saw a movie I'm working on this weekend. I'm going to be doing the 2024 romances. So I'm working on finding some more obscure ones that I haven't seen. There's a movie called Chosen Family. This I liked the cast. Heather Graham, she directed it. She plays this yoga teacher, and so she has this relationship with this fraught relationship with her sister and her other family. And so she ends up kind of fake dating this guy, John Brotherton, who's been in a bunch of Hallmark movies. And it's okay, but the humor wasn't really that effective. And I didn't hate it. Like if people on Letterboxd like really hated this movie, but it wasn't great. It wasn't great because of the humor. That was the problem. Was just not that effective, and the little girl was very annoying. But I thought they had nice chemistry, and I'd be interested to see what Heather Graham could do next. So hopefully she'll keep trying. But then a movie called End Misses. And this is a very hidden gem, I think, rom-com for 2024. This is it's about this woman who is in Britain who is engaged to the super nice guy. She doesn't really want to get married that much, but he wants to. She loves him, so she wants to get married to him. And then he dies. And the whole movie is about how she decides that she wants to be legally married to him, even though he died. And because it was so important to him. and whether they can do that or not. And it was actually like really sweet and funny. It's obviously kind of more of a dark rom-com, but I liked it. I thought it was good. And it stars Aisling B, and Billy Lord plays her sister or friend. I can't remember, but anyway, she's the best friend character in the movie, and she's great. I really enjoyed it, so yeah, I'll check it out. Okay, then more of the animated that I saw, The Tiger's Apprentice. I thought this had some decent animation, but the story and the characters just weren't there. Film with a Unicorn. I think that this, like, for the first 30 minutes or so, it's like pretty fun. I enjoyed it. I liked the characters, but then it just goes on and on and on. I think the music was pretty good. So it's not a total loss. It's like serviceable for kids, but I wouldn't I couldn't recommend it. But then I saw the Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie. This movie was absolutely atrocious. I hated it. I'd heard it was bad going into it, but they were right. It wasn't funny, it wasn't charming, it was bizarre what it does with the Wanda Sykes character, like that whole plot line. It was, but not in like an absurdist, the way SpongeBob is usually kind of bizarre, not in that way, just bizarre. So yeah, it was terrible. I hated it. Okay, then Queer. So this movie is very, very beautifully made, beautifully shot, well acted, but I just did not get invested in this relationship, like, at all, between Daniel Craig's character and the younger guy. I no another like I just didn't get the emotional connection. I didn't feel I it and so it felt very repetitive, the same scenes over and over again, and it felt very dull. Like, I just think Luca Guadagnino, his idea of like what is sensual and what is like beautiful is different than mine. Like, I want more like emotional connection and story, and in Call Me by Your Name, he definitely had that emotional connection. That's why it's his best movie. But like, I don't know, a lot of times he just has these like meaningful staring scenes, and these scenes where I'm not getting the character growth and the dialogue and the, that I want, and very repetitive and very so I don't know. I did not like Queer. Then I saw Better Man, and this is, pretty bizarre. The Robbie Williams biopic where he's a monkey, an ape, or I don't know what the difference is, whatever. And it's weird because on one hand, because I don't know anything about Robbie Williams, I'm in that camp. I've never heard of him, but I don't know music. I don't follow music. I'm not a music critic, and so there we go. And so I didn't know anything about that, but on one hand, I want to say that I think that the ape idea was just like a gimmick to make the movie different. But on the other hand, there was something oddly endearing about that about that monkey. Like, it was really sweet, and you were kind of rooting for him. Which, if it was just a normal human, I don't know if it would be. It would be kind of going through the motions. I don't know. It actually made a difference. It's weird, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was an entertaining film. So go figure. Okay, Wolfman. And I thought this was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I thought it created atmosphere well. I thought it was, what I liked about it was that you were never sure how far gone the character was. And so, should they be helping him? Should they be kind to him, or is he going to kill them? Like, there was, to me, that sense of unease made it really scary and really fun. Like, you didn't know what the characters should do. And it was short, it was sweet, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Then September 5. This is a real life portrayal of the this based on true story about the 1972 Munich Olympics when the hostages, Israeli hostages were taken. And this told from the perspective of the ABC news crew. And a lot of times I don't really love journalism movies. And the reason why is because they can feel kind of cold and clinical, even something that a lot of other people love, like All the President's Men. Um, I don't love. I don't know, they just can be a little bit too emotionally removed. But I think this did a pretty good job of getting us inside what the news people were feeling, the producers, and it's got a great cast. Everybody, the acting's really good. And the way that they combined the old footage with the movie and made it just seamless as if it was happening was very good. That was extremely impressive. So I enjoyed it. And then I did see the Wicked sing along. So that's 3 times I saw that movie. I really enjoyed it. It was super fun, just be belting it out. Everybody was having a great time in the theater. Loved that. And then I also saw Hundreds of Beavers in the theater, which was really fun to see. I hadn't seen it in the theater, and there was basically full, which was exciting. And there were people there with like Beavers cosplay. Like everybody was really into it, which definitely added to the laughs. And I love that movie. It's just so crazy and so much fun. And so that was a great experience. And the last new movie that I saw was Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person. This I watched for this romance project that I'm going to be doing live stream coming up, and it was I thought it was really cute. It's about this teenage girl who's a vampire who I guess can grow. She doesn't stay in this world of vampires. So, but she hasn't got her fangs in. But because she's like she only eats blood but she doesn't actually kill. And so she gets this idea that what if she kills somebody who wants to commit suicide, and she meets this boy, and it was actually kind of endearing, and I thought that well done, well acted, well shot. I liked it. So there we go. That is the new movies that I have seen since I last updated. So let's talk about theater. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Okay, I saw it's called Here's Love or Miracle on 34th Street. This was at Sanctuary Theater, and this is not the strongest theater. I always say it's a learning theater, but I was really excited because I've been wanting to see this show. It's not performed very much, and it has music by Meredith Willson of Music Man fame, and it was not the strongest production, but I was glad to finally see it. Okay, then I saw White Christmas at the Old Barn Theater. This was a new theater for me. It's up past Ogden, so it's a pretty good drive for me. And I think if I were going to go to this theater again, I would get my seat somewhere different because there was kind of a pole there that sort of limited it a little bit of what I could see because they performed a lot in one corner, and I kind of had to keep moving to try to see. That was the only downside. It was cute. I think that this White Christmas is actually a really, really good screen to stage adaptation. I think they made it better than the movie. So I always jump at any chance I get to see it. I mean, this was amateur theater, but I enjoyed it. Okay, I saw Christmas Carol at Hale Center Theater Orem. This was kind of sad because it's the last production in their Orem location. I've been a season ticket holder for many, many years. I used to take voice lessons there. I love the theater, but they're moving into this new grand location called the Ruth. They can't call it Hale Center Theater Orem anymore because it's in Pleasant Grove. And it has multiple theaters. It's this huge thing, which is exciting, but I just worry that I'll miss the intimacy of the Orem location, and I just loved that there. So It wasn't my favorites. Christmas Carol, the Scrooge was better in in the uh in the second half than in the first half when he was playing Scrooge, when he was playing angry, it just came across a little phony to me. It didn't feel, I don't know. He was much better in the more joyous redemption parts. But still, I love the story of Christmas Carol. So that was fun to see one last show there. Then I saw the Nutcracker, and this was the 80th anniversary of the Nutcracker in Salt Lake. We were the first ballet company to put on the Nutcracker in America, which is pretty cool. And we've been doing it consistently. And Ballet West is one of the finest, if not the finest, ballet companies outside of New York in the world. It's really, really great. So I always love seeing anything there. I'm not the biggest ballet person, and that's just me. But beautiful costumes, beautiful dancing. It's great. Okay. Then I saw Anastasia at Draper Historic. I actually left halfway because I had like an air thing blowing on me and I just started to get a headache, and I don't love this show. They did a great job. Everybody was very good in all their roles, and it was kind of a little bit more sparse than they typically do. I mean, this is a very, very, very small local theater, but normally, like for Sweeney Todd or for some of the other productions, they've had quite a bit of set and props and everything. So this was pretty reliant on the projection, but it was still quite good. I just don't like the show, and I was getting me a headache. So, okay. Let's see here. What else? Oh, I forgot. I went to our old Maven Cinemas that was so unfairly shut down. It makes me so sad. But they did a special Home Alone event with the local pizzeria. And we had food that went along with the movie. And we watched Home Alone. Stanford and I went to that, and that was really fun because I love Home Alone, and so it was fun. I hope they do more. Let's see here. What else? Okay, the only other theater that I've seen is Dial M for Murder at Pioneer Theater Company, and I'm very torn on this production. And it's not the fault of the production; they were excellent, but this play, it's so bottom heavy. The first act is kind of rough. It's all exposition, and it's all built up to the murder actually happening, and then the things really don't get interesting until the inspector comes in, Inspector Hubbard, and he has all the personality, and that second act is actually pretty entertaining. And I don't think that you learn enough that's like that you couldn't in just a couple lines in that second act, given that you don't need all that backstory. You don't need to know that the guy and the hitman went to school together. You don't need to know all this backstory about this relationships. And so this could be a one act play, easy. Like, I seriously think you could go to just act 2 and you would have a better experience. And so it's always hard because I think they did a good job, but I just don't like this play. I just think that first act is brutal. Second act, much, much, much better. It had an interesting set. It was all with chrome, and I was a little unsure kind of what, it looked like mirrors all around it. And I was like, what are they trying to do? It kind of had a Tim Burton-esque feel to me, which was a little strange for this story. But the acting was good. They did gender swap the roles, so they made it so that the woman was having an affair with another woman instead of a man, which was fine. But the acting, good. So if you love mysteries, then I think that you'll enjoy Act 2 enough to make it worth it. If you're kind of, I don't love mysteries, then I probably skip it. But so it's tough. But when you kind of leave with mixed feelings, because there was a lot to admire about the production. So there we go. That is everything I saw stage and screen in the last just about 3 weeks. So let me know what you think, what you've been watching, what you have coming up. I've got, like I said, so much coming up because I've got Sundance and I've got a bunch of different shows that I'm going to be seeing. I'm seeing 2 shows on Saturday, so that's going to be busy. So yeah, just let me know. And thanks so much, everybody. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.